let's just chat a little bit about what Mindtree numbers have been. Within a minute from now, we will cut across and hear out the management as well as to what they have to highlight for the FY17 trajectory. But the management has said, or rather Mindtree has posted better than expected numbers, but margins, they continue to come under pressure for the second straight quarter. The company, remember, has got a confident picture for FY17 with the demand environment looking good in the US. In fact, Rahul Dayama caught up with the top management as well of Mindtree, and we will cut across to that conversation in just seconds from now. What was interesting to see was the fact that Mindtree as a stock run up in anticipation of a strong quarterly performance. So yesterday, Mindtree, the stock, ran up a good 6.5%. But first, let's hear out what the management has to say.
The quarter was amongst the best we have seen in the recent past, 3% plus organic growth, 6.1% consolidated growth, including the acquisition of Magnet 360, which we announced in January. So overall has been a great quarter on any front that you can look at. For example, very strong deal wins in this quarter, approximately 260 million of overall deal signing, of which about 80 plus million was in the digital area. Or if you look at on the people side, amongst the best attrition numbers we have declared over the last 5 or 6 quarters, or if you look at our efforts on client mining, whether it is our $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $50 million, all categories saw increases there. So overall, I think the game plan that KK set for us 3 or 4 years back, continuing to sort of focus and execute on it. And last year and the quarter was a reflection of the sort of good execution on the priorities we set for ourselves.
All right. Also, congratulations on your elevation and appointment as the CEO. And also just give us some idea as to is there a particular revenue milestone probably that you have in mind during your tenure that you would want to reach?
I don't think we'd like to set absolute targets as milestones because they are neither very inspirational, and sometimes we are scared that it leads you to sort of wrong behavior as well. Our focus, like KK has set for ourselves over the last 3 or 4 years, is to deliver industry-leading growth, which is a reflection of the fact that we are taking market share away from others. We are leading in our sort of technology choices. We are leading with innovation for our clients. So we'd like to grow faster than the industry at one level. The second level is that how do we continue to be a great place for talent to come and work in Mindtree, attracting and retaining talent. The third is obviously client acquisition is a very tough part in our business. How do we deepen relationships within our existing clients? So client mining, focus on a few things and make Mindtree a great place to work in. So that continues to be our strategy even for the next 2 or 3 years, I would assume.
All right, thanks. KK, coming to, the exit quarter revenues, especially organic, have been solid. That has really left us surprised because you indeed just last month indicated a warning there. How did this come up?
See, if you look at the results and dissect them, we indicated to the market that we are seeing sluggishness in 2 segments, BFSI and retail consumer products. And the results have shown that both those segments have declined fairly significantly. BFSI declined by about 5%, retail consumer products by about 3.6%. So I don't think any of those really changed. What did happen was in the segments which are doing well, the results certainly came a little better than what we anticipated. Again, just to give a reference point in terms of what we communicated, when we shared the results of quarter 3, we had delivered a quarter-on-quarter growth of 3.4%. And we said we'll do better than that. So our clarification was we are not going to do better, not that we will do poorly. So in that context, I think the update which we gave was factual, and the results really demonstrate that it was in line with what he said, because our stated philosophy of governance has been when we have a new fact, and if that's going to be different from what you've communicated, we will share with the market.
All right. Just wanting to dig in a little deeper, travel, media and digital have kind of offset the softness to some extent in the BFSI sector. In terms of the sluggishness in the accounts, will this overlap in the next quarter or probably the first half of FY17? What's the on-ground progress?
See, like Rostro had shared earlier, in both these segments, for them to come back to normal, it might take a quarter or 2. Overall, for the year, we are very, very optimistic on the funnel and that we will exceed the 15% which we have delivered consistently over the last 3-4 years. But we would have probably a little more back-ended growth during FY17.
All right. Jagan, coming to you, digital has indeed been a big focus area as far as Mindtree is concerned. It's indeed a growth pillar also. But we are also seeing, as far as the traditional IT services are concerned, a slowdown there. What strategy, so to say, you have for the non-traditional IT services?
We are not seeing a slowdown in the non-traditional IT services. Quarter on quarter, there can be some ups and downs into these specific businesses only. For example, enterprise services, IMS business, all those things are also doing well. Year on year basis, they have grown very well. So the margin front, they are doing very well at present. But in the traditional services, over a longer medium term period, the pricing pressure may come up in that. That is our expectation for that. So the new way of delivery, like KK was mentioning earlier about artificial intelligence, automation, all those things, the new way of delivery, the agile way of delivery, all those things will come into play in the traditional services. We will bring in an efficient way to deliver, which will help to protect our margins. Pricing, there may be a little pressure coming up in the traditional services in the medium term.
All right. I want to dig in a little deeper into the margin front. For 2 straight quarters, we've seen a decline there. I know it's a quarter-on-quarter issue, Chennai floods and Magnet 360. But now both these issues behind you, how do you see margins panning out in the next year?
As elaborated by me earlier, our acquired company's margin profile is slightly lower. They reaching to Mindtree's margin profile may take a slightly longer term because they are growing fast, they are on-site centric, so the margin profile will be different. But still we have levers there, and offshoring, client mining, the new on the new margin profile of the customers we acquire. All these things will help to improve the margin of the acquired entities. Coming back to Mindtree, we still have a lever on utilization, on pyramid. Our utilization is around 70%. We have still a lever there. We have invested on the capacity. So this will help us to bring back the profitability in the coming year.
All right. Coming to you, Rostov, in terms of geographical demand and the larger picture, how's it looking like as far as larger demand is concerned?
I think we're seeing very strong traction with our clients in the US. Overall, the market is a lot more firmer. Client feedback from the US market is also a lot more positive. So we see good traction in the US market. Europe is partly a little bit mixed, but partly Europe also continues to suffer from the cross-currency headwinds. If you look at many of the major European currencies have had depreciation against the US dollar. So from a reported currency point of view, Europe also suffers from that factor. But between the two, I would say both are good. US is stronger.
All right. KK, last question coming to you. It's an industry-wide phenomena. The US visa issue in US has gained momentum, so to say. During every election it happens. Would you call it pure rhetoric? I know your visa costs have come down significantly from the last financial year, but is that a cause of worry, the kind of dialogue and interactions that we are seeing from the US side?
See, any election year is always a cause for concern because part of it will be rhetoric, part will be based on what people fundamentally believe they need to change. Yeah, so it's too early to call out who's going to win and what will be their approach towards the visa scenario, which is why I think proactively we have removed our dependency on visa. We created capacity last year with more visas. We are significantly upping our local hiring. And to that extent, I think this is really a challenge which we need to adopt different approaches to manage that. I don't see it as a risk.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.